So what I want to do is sort of really share with you my 25 years of experience of doing this work in Hong Kong, and sort of allow you to understand how things have changed over the last, certainly the last 5 or 6 years at least. But in essence, what the situation was 25 years ago when I started is if you were an aspiring entrepreneur and you had a plan for a business, there was no such concept of a startup. What you were just an average Joe that had an idea for a business and you had some capital and you wanted to secure the immigration status in Hong Kong to be able to do it. And the consideration criteria were all very, very straightforward for 2 decades in my experience. And then 5 or 6 years ago, the whole concept of sort of a startup emerged on the scene. You had all these notion of sort of, startup entertainment and this sort of collegiate, collaborative sort of environment where, people could get together and share their ideas and share their experiences and pay things forward and all the rest of this that, represents the way that businesses are newly started these days. So because the Immigration Department were increasingly receiving applications from startups who invariably didn't have any money, the Immigration Department understood that some things would have to change. So in 2015, they went through a stakeholder collaboration exercise and gathered together kind of, the information that they really needed to try and implement an adjustment into how this particular visa type, the business investment visa as an entrepreneur, would be administered. And as part of adjustments in policy in May 2015, which were introduced on May the 4th, in actual fact, the Immigration Department introduced some new efficiencies into the process and made it, on the one hand, easier for people. Easier in as much as it used to be that the visa that you would get upon approval would be granted for 1 year initially, then it would be granted for 2-year extension, a 2-year extension, and a 3-year extension. So the Immigration Department, having taken on board stakeholder opinions, thought, well, perhaps what they should do is make it easier by perhaps giving a 2-year visa first, and then a 3-year visa, and then a 3-year visa. And that's exactly what they did in the enhancement measures. They also, at that time, introduced the concept of a so-called startup visa. And the startup visa was a kind of a hat tip towards the reality that a large number of talented young, not so young in many cases, entrepreneurs who had good ideas for business who couldn't actually meet the criteria for approval under this particular visa type, because as you'll understand shortly, there is an expectation of you making a substantial contribution to the economy of Hong Kong in order to get approved. But because of the nature of startups, increasingly it was becoming apparent to the Immigration Department that startups would never be able to pass the test for approval. So the Immigration Department then split the visa type into 2 particular sort of limbs. You've got the startup visa on the one hand, and then you've got the full-blown business investment visa as an entrepreneur application on the other. But they all fall under an umbrella of the business investment visa as an entrepreneur.